is up, everybody, and welcome to Team Amazing Speak Nerdy to Me for the week of May 12th. My name is Ann Campea, one half of Team Amazing, and joining me to my right is the better half of Team Amazing, Miss Kaori Take.
I'm not the better half. I am just the other half. She's
the smarter, more beautiful, whatever.
No.
Okay.
Hi.
And if you guys haven't joined us for any of these Speak Nerdy to Me shows, it's the show where we grab all of our favorite headlines for this week in the world of TV, movie, tech, you name it. If we like the topic, we're going to talk about it. So let's get started because there's a lot of movie news out there, and we wanted to get started with our Neighbors review because that came out this week, and we had a chance to see it. So, of course, we've been hyping this movie up for quite some time. So, Kaori, let's start with you. What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was everything I expected. I thought it was going to be funny, witty, good storyline. You've got Seth Rogen and Zac Efron and Rose Byrne, and they all did an excellent job. Don't want to, not mention Dave Franco. He did a really good job as well. I thought it was well played. A really all well-rounded, pretty funny movie.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was laughing at some parts that weren't necessarily, I don't think, made to be that funny. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because a lot of it was relatable. John and I aren't new parents yet, but I think being in this stage of our marriage and kind of moving on to the next phase in life, there were some jokes they had in there, some subtle kind of quirks at how couples are. And that was really relatable to me, and I like that about the movie. There were some interaction between Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne when they were just in their house dealing with their newborn child that made me laugh. And I think to that extent, I really enjoyed the humor, the type of humor that they put in here.
I agree, and it fits for parents or to be parents or family people, as well as teenagers or college kids. Yes. Because Zac Efron obviously plays a frat bro, and he's a president of a fraternity, and it's reminiscent of my college days when. I was in a sorority, and you go to frat parties and you want to just have fun and get wasted. We all had those moments.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. So it was reminiscent of that. And it's funny how they made fun of that.
Yes.
But that is totally what you do.
I know. That's the funny thing is you might, if you've never been in a fraternity or sorority, like Corey said, you probably think, oh gosh, they're hyping up the way things are when you're in one, real. And it's really like that. And so for us, we were cracking up because this was so real. They had a lot of the jokes correct. They had a lot of the things that frats do,
like the ridiculousness
on
of
point.
The president having his own glamorized room.
Yes,
so true.
Yes, I know. And then just some of the rituals they were doing. I loved that gag that they did where they did the mold of their wieners and they sold them to the college students. I thought that was hilarious. Mm-hmm. That was really funny. So I think for me, I was really surprised by Rose Byrne. I found her to be hilarious. Mm-hmm. I loved some of the exterior characters, like I don't know their names now, but the best friends that used to be married and then were divorced and then I think got back together in the movie. They were hilarious to me. And then let's very briefly talk about how freaking cute was that baby they casted.
Oh my gosh, that baby was so cute.
I'm sorry, if you don't like babies, you have to like this one or you have no heart, because this baby was adorable.
And at the end, that baby was the cutest.
Yes.
Don't want to give it away, but oh my god.
And it turns out that baby is actually a set of triplets.
It's a twins.
Twins?
Yeah, they're
okay, twins. So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, to have someone that young and keep their attention span, I'm sure would be difficult, but the baby did awesome.
Yeah.
So that is our review for Neighbors. Go see it. Go see it because Zac Efron is topless. Go see it because it's hilarious.
I like that part.
Go see it because Seth Rogen is topless.
When they go to the at the end, where it's in the trailers. It's okay to say this, but when they say, like Seth Rogen says to Zac Efron, "Look at your body. It looks like your torso's pointing to your dick." Towards the end.
Yeah, that was classic. So trust me, you guys, it's worth seeing in the theater. Go see it, and you will have a good laugh. So let's move on to other Zac Efron news, though, because there's some rumors swirling around, and rumors rumors about, well, I'm showing this because there's rumors about Channing Tatum that were actually not rumors anymore.
Yeah.
Come this week that are saying that he is going to play Gambit in the upcoming Marvel film. But the reason why we have this under the Zac Efron topic is because there's also rumors of Zac Efron perhaps playing somebody we don't know. Speculation on somebody in the Marvel universe.
It's still super rumored.
Yes.
But I'm curious as to how this rumor got created, right?
Yeah, I mean, for a while now, they've been talking about perhaps he could play the next iteration of Daredevil, which they're coming out with a Marvel Netflix show.
Sorry.
I mean, I know it was a little tainted when Ben Affleck played him, but look at Ben Affleck now. Now he's playing Batman. So, I mean, there's and Zach's name has swirled for quite some time that he could play somebody in that universe, and I think that's a testament to how well of an actor Zach is. You know, he could probably fit the role of many people. So I've been reading that people suspect, could he be Doctor Strange? I don't think so. I don't think he would fit that role.
I've seen a lot of that.
But the Daredevil is definitely a possibility. Maybe he could get one of the roles in the upcoming Captain America 3 or Ant-Man, maybe not a main character, but one of the, supportive characters. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, is there anyone in particular you could see him playing?
Storm. No, I'm still kidding.
Put on that blonde, white hair
wig.
and also, let's not forget, the next Marvel film coming out is Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's going to open up a whole new universe where they could do a ton of spin-offs off of that. So, and there's a ton of characters in that world as well. So we'll see.
I would actually love to see him play a villain.
It would be awesome.
I
think he could pull it off.
I think he can too.
Yeah, I mean, he was a douchebag in Neighbors, but he could kind of turn that douchebag into villain.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
But yeah, I think he can do it all. I think he would fit well in any of those roles. So let's move on now to some. Oh, we saw Godzilla this week. We wanted to talk about that, didn't we?
We did.
Okay, so Godzilla, we saw that Thursday night, I believe.
He's cute.
Oh, sorry, I'm a little mixed up here.
We're sitting there somewhere.
There it is.
There it is.
Godzilla was out this week. We had a chance to see it in the beautiful AMC Prime Theater. I'll start off with my thoughts because I've never seen a Godzilla film. I'm sorry, I never have. I know Godzilla. I know him from video games that I've played. I've seen him. I'm not that out of the loop on who Godzilla is, but I've just never actually watched a film. So I had no expectations going into this except that I really wanted to see Godzilla. And let me just say, if you're going in there with the expectation that from the first minute you're going to see Godzilla through the last minute of the film, then you might be disappointed. I know I've been reading some reviews where people didn't like the film because of that, because they had the expectation that they would see monsters fighting the whole time. So for me, I actually liked the film. I liked the casting. I liked Aaron Taylor Johnson. I liked Elizabeth Olsen in their roles. I also like Bryan Cranston, of course. He's just a wonderful actor. I thought the casting was perfect. I was okay on the storyline. I would say average film for me.
Okay.
What about you?
I would say not a very good movie. I was disappointed, to be honest with you, with how it went about. Like the way they were teasing it before this movie came out with such an all-star cast. Elizabeth Olsen, as you said, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Bryan Cranston, Juliette Binoche, and then Ken Watanabe. I mean, just a stellar cast. But ultimately, you didn't even need them for this movie because the storyline just... It wasn't about them. It was about Godzilla, and there wasn't enough Godzilla, in my opinion. I just didn't understand the flow. It just didn't mix well together. I think the best part of Godzilla, the movie, was Godzilla. Special effects were great. They're fantastic. I think if you're going to see it, go see it in the theaters because you need to get, the sound and the visuals and everything. But just overall, I was very disappointed with it.
Speaking of sound, though, if you're going to see it in the prime, or if you have one of those crazy surround sound theaters like we saw it in, because every time Godzilla took a step, the theater shook.
He's so cute.
Yeah, his little cute ass. But yeah, it was just the actual like kind of atmosphere in that particular theater maybe is what made it a better movie for me too. So see it the way Corey just said. See it in a good theater.
Yeah, and tell us what you think, because that's just my opinion. I almost think I almost want to see Matthew Broderick's Godzilla, and that movie sucked, and think that might be up to par. Lord.
Maybe we should have watched that before this new one, and then we would have loved the new one because that one sucked so much.
maybe. Or maybe this one would be like, oh wow, it's really not that much better than the
I know.
Broderick.
Let's just play the video game. What was that video game called? Was it Carnage or something? Rampage or something, where there was like Godzilla and you would go up, climb up the buildings, and you would try to knock them down, and you could pick King Kong and all that stuff.
I never played that one.
Oh my gosh, we got to play it.
But yeah, I mean, basically Godzilla is he's a kaiju, and kaiju, it's supposed to be a kaiju movie, and it just I loved Pacific Rim. That's a kaiju movie right there. Godzilla didn't feel that great.
Yeah, I have to agree. So let's move on. That's our Godzilla review. To some movie news, because the first image of Batman and his Batmobile was released this week. It was also released with no color, with the colors muted. So I thought that was interesting. And Zack Snyder tweeted this week, and everybody was going crazy about this image. Everyone's been waiting to see the Batmobile and the bat suit. And I personally love it. Corey, what do you think?
I thought it was cool to get this reveal, but I'm not like, oh my god, that's what's gonna look like. That's gonna be awesome. Whatever. It's, you know, I still want to see more out of it.
Well, and you know, the suit doesn't make how well the film is going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, he could be wearing freaking Speedos and do a fantastic job as Batman, and everyone loves the film.
Yeah,
you know. So
I mean, it looks cool, but it's still not. It's just a picture for me.
But it is a glimpse into perhaps what the film might be about, because everyone speculates that it's based on Frank Miller's take on Batman. I think if it is, that's awesome. I love that story. I love the look of Batman under Frank Miller. I think the suit fits that this picture of Ben Affleck perfectly. And there are no bat nipples as well. I'm so happy about that. But there are some renditions out there. People have actually touched up the color to match that picture I just saw or showed you guys from Frank Miller. And it looks badass. It really does look really good. And also look out for those sad Batman memes
They're so funny.
They are hilarious. Have you checked them out?
Yes.
They're so funny. I think my favorite one is where he's standing there and he's pushing a swing, like, and there's nobody in the swing.
I love memes. They're so funny.
I know. People are so witty and great. But we'll look out for more from that. I mean, that's just our first glimpse. We'll look out for more from Zack Snyder and crew. And I think the movie's not coming out till May 6, 2016. Yeah. So we got some time.
But we've got plenty of movies to fill us up till then.
We've got a lot of time. So, okay, let's move on to... some people might be really happy to hear this, that the Kickboxer movie is going to be remade.
Mixed feelings.
And it's going to star Dave Bautista, George St-Pierre, as well as, I think his name is Alain Mousy, and I totally butchered his name, as the star. So this guy is going to actually play Kurt Sloan, who was portrayed in the originals by Jean-Claude Van Damme, JVCD. So what do you think of the remake, though? What do you think of this casting?
I'm not quite familiar with the third guy, obviously.
He's a newbie. He actually was a stuntman in several films, and this is his first flick being the star.
Yeah,
but he does kind of look like
his picture's impressive.
Yeah, he does kind of look like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He definitely knows martial arts, so that's also good.
Do we know what role Batista and St-Pierre is gonna be?
No, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
I have no idea. I mean, I figure one or both are going to be a villain.
Yeah,
in the film.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, that's different because in the remake, I mean, not the remake. Oh my gosh, the original. Yeah. The villain is a badass Thai dude. Or whatever. So I'm like, where the Asian at?
I know.
That's what I want to know.
I mean, hopefully they haven't cast that role yet. I can't see either. That's why I asked. I consider Batista and GSP to be villains only because of their previous roles. They could definitely pull off being the bad guy. I'm curious as to why they decided to reboot Kickboxer, whereas that's a great movie. Bloodsport was way better. So I'm kind of curious to know why they decided to remake this one and not Bloodsport. Yeah, that's a good question. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. I know. I'm just speaking out loud. I mean, you might ask somebody on the street and their favorite was Kickboxer over Bloodsport, but I have to think majority love Bloodsport over Kickboxer for sure. So we'll see. I'm glad also that GSP is getting more roles. I know he's not fighting in the octagon anymore, but I like to see him on screen somehow, and so we'll see. And I'm excited about this remake. Yeah, it's good. I think that, at this age, we're starting to get a lot of reboots and remakes of movies that we grew up with, so it's always interesting to see how they turn out. Yeah, that's true. We are the judge of that because we grew up with this. Yeah. So as people say, don't ruin my childhood because with all of these remakes. So we have faith in it. Yeah. Okay, so let's move from the big screen to the small screen. We wanted to talk about the Flash extended trailer that was released this week. I know a ton of us saw this week that Arrow had its season finale. So this actually, a glimpse into the trailer premiered during the Arrow season finale. And I believe the next day they released the 5-minute full-blown trailer. Yeah. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, you've seen it. Mm-hmm. We watched it together, right? Mm-hmm. So I liked it though. I mean, I liked the small snippet that they gave us during the Arrow season finale, but I really liked the 5-minute extended trailer. I haven't seen the 5-minute one yet. That's okay. It's all good. So, let me just talk about it. I'm going into the doghouse. No, not to worry. Okay, so what did you think of the quick one, the one that we saw during the season finale? I really thought that was a good tease, and I liked the relationship between Arrow and the Flash. I thought it was cool that Stephen Amell decided, not him, but they made him in the trailer. Was he in the extended trailer? He definitely is. Yeah, so it's good because they're just pretty much expanding on something that we love, which is Arrow, and they're showing the Flash as an extended version camaraderie. Yeah. There, so thoughts on the suit or anything? I like the suit. Okay. I think they did a good job. I thought they did better than I thought they would do. I was kind of worried it was going to be really cheesy, but it fits well. I think the suit actually looks better than Amell's costume. And is that bad? Yeah. And I actually think the suit looks better than the comic book. Ooh. Yes. I think it looks like it fits somebody that would be aerodynamic and the speed and everything. But just real quick on the extended trailer, I really liked it. They introduced all of the characters really well, especially for people who are not familiar with Flash at all. They actually go into some of the villains that we'll see as well, and they call them out. And I know they kind of did that in the Gotham trailer, and I didn't like it because I felt it was cheesy, but this one felt like it was it felt warranted. It felt like they needed to do that because I don't think that many people are familiar with, sure, they might be familiar with the Flash, but they might not be familiar with who is the baddies in the Flash. Sure. Yeah. So they introduced that. They introduced Stephen Amell was in there as Arrow. So there was a really cute interaction in the trailer between Arrow and the Flash. And kind of Arrow giving him a pep talk in some ways, or a motivation as to why he needs to be out there saving people's lives and doing what he's doing. But the best part of the trailer, in my opinion, is they go into the backstory, and it's word for word from the comic about how his mother dies, and all he remembers is seeing just flash around his mother, and he remembers seeing a man within that flash.
Yeah.
And that is to the T from the comic book that Professor Zoom is the one that ended up killing his mother, and that is how it's portrayed in the comics. So I'm excited to see it in the show.
Isn't that what they say? So they basically did the same thing that they did when he was introduced on Arrow.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Okay.
So they basically, what they did is they took the scenes that he shot for Arrow, and then now they're using that exact scenario to show you how he begins his life in Central City.
Sweet.
It's really good.
Look, Anne, as punishment, well, not as punishment, I'm going to watch it after and leave a comment below as my homework.
Yeah, do that.
So I apologize. I'm like, oh,
because I'm sure they want to know. Everyone wants to know what you think too. So
I do.
I kind of want to. I was like, let's just stop recording and let's watch it
now. She was staring at me. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna have to start all over.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, you guys check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm hyped up for it. If it's a great show, perhaps there will be an after show.
So it better be good.
So we'll see.
Because I like hanging out with the Campeas. I like it.
You guys will talk to us about the Flash and how wrong we are about how the Flash does or whatever.
Or ignore each other's comments.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to one of our other favorite shows, Game of Thrones. What are we on now? Like episode 6?
Gosh,
something?
something.
Because we just finished the mid-season last week. So yeah, I have to believe we're on episode 6, The Laws of Gods and Men.
Yes.
What did you... I'll start with you because you are our GOT guru. What did you think of this episode?
I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest with you. I fell asleep a couple times in certain portions of it. The beginning with Baratheon, the speech, it was kind of elongated. And the guy that looks like Jean Reno.
Isn't that...
It's not, but it looks like him, doesn't it?
Isn't it? No, I'm going to look that up.
She's like, what?
It's not him? Okay,
No.
I'm not going to... Well, I don't have time, but I'll...
It's not him, but it looks like him. And then the best part of the show itself for me was probably when Theon Greyjoy's sister tries to go get him. But after that, it got all downhill. Of course, because you have because I have an emotional investment towards Tyrion Lannister. That part was interesting, but it was just kind of one of the slower Game of Thrones episodes.
Was that from the book? That whole speech he did at the end?
Yes.
Okay. Was it word for word from the book too?
No.
Oh, okay. Just wondering.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, maybe, but it wasn't like a surprise that he was gonna go off like that at the trial.
No, it gets worse.
Okay. Gets worse before it gets better, I hope, for Tyrion. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Kind of just one note episode. I can't watch the Theon Greyjoy scenes.
Really?
They disturb me that much.
They're very disturbing.
They are so disturbing. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that because, like you, I was waiting for the sister. I mean, every episode I would ask John, where's the sister? Like, we saw her last season. She was off on this quest to go get him, and then we don't see her.
And she ditched him again.
And then she's just said, fuck it. He's freaking crazy. He's not my brother anymore, so I'm just going to leave him there with the hounds. You know, like, it was just so easy for her to give up and turn around.
You know, actually, I have, I don't know if you know this, but Theon Greyjoy is played by Lily Allen's brother. I forgot what his first name is, but it's like Mr. Allen, whatever. Yeah. And Lily Allen was actually offered the role of Theon Greyjoy's sister.
No.
Yeah, and she declined the role because when she was reading it, she's like, wait, my brother has to get on a horse with me and like
fondle me.
Shit. She's like, yeah, I'll pass. So
that's funny.
Isn't that funny?
That's actually a good story. I didn't know that. Wow, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, I would never let my brother follow my boobies.
No, and you know what? And I can't even see them having cut that scene out because it set the tone perfectly for that brother-sister relationship.
Yeah, how
that was the first interaction like that I saw of them two, and
oof.
Yeah, so I can't watch those scenes. They were great scenes. I'm interested to see now that he has to go pretend to be who he is. Gosh, can you go be Theon Greyjoy now after he's been convinced that he's Reek? Gosh. I mean, it's just torture for me because it's just disturbing. But anyways, like I said, one note, the Daenerys ruling, whatever. Like I could.
Dany.
Yeah, I didn't care for it at all.
For me, her character is... I really liked her in season 2 and season 3. Season 1, I didn't like her very much, but season 4, she's starting to bother me. Mm-hmm. She's reminding me a lot of her brother, who she didn't like. Mm-hmm. You know, who she felt was kind of an asshole.
Right.
And now she doesn't know what she's doing, but yet everyone adores her. Right. It's just not a strong character for me anymore.
Does it get better is what I'm wondering, because is there going to be a time where she kind of has an awakening to say, hey, I've kind of left what my main purpose was and forgotten about it?
I just think she just doesn't know what she's doing, you know? And then people who are in love with her and her beauty are obviously like behind her.
Right.
But it's just, for her, it's a very slow process. And even like in the TV show, you look at it and you're like, dude, your dragons are huge right now. It's time. Yeah. It's time to fucking get to King's Landing, okay?
Yeah, I know. They're like, so Daenerys, you have 8,000 slaves. What are they called in this show?
The Sullied, whatever.
Sullied, yeah. You have 8,000 of those. You got hundreds of ships or whatever they were saying. 3 dragons and 2 mentors that are willing to die for you or whatever. Do you want to go try to get King's Landing? And she's like,
no, I'm going to roll.
You know, I think I want to stay here and rule.
I'm just going to roll for a little bit.
And kind of like try to fix all of the problems that these people face and free every slave and make sure they stay free and there's no war.
And like, it was cool that in King's Landing, they did mention her, that they are starting to worry about her. But I'm thinking, don't even worry about it. She's busy getting her wipe-assed by somebody, you know?
Dude, she's in a battle with herself right now because, like Corey said, she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, I know.
Her direction is not set yet. But for me, the highlight was the trial and kind of some of the revelations that are made within that trial. Mm-hmm. I have to suspect that what is the whore's name?
So Shay.
Shay is was never really in love with Tyrion.
No, she was in love with him. It's just that she was extremely hurt and felt extremely rejected. And hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, you know? Like, I think she feels dead inside, losing the love of her life. So she has nothing else to lose. And I think that's her payback. Right. Some women are like that.
Go for it. Go for it,
but
Shay.
It'll get worse.
I'd like to see Tyrion at the end, in the end, be the last man standing, because he's been shit on this whole show. Okay, so on to some shows that also have been shit on. Shows that have been canceled for this upcoming 2014-2015 TV season. There's some canceled shows, some renewed shows. Fortunately, for me, all the shows that I follow have been renewed, but let's go through some of the shows that have been canceled. From ABC, there's a few. Okay. If any of you guys watch Betrayal, I know that one was a pretty popular one. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, Suburgatory. I didn't watch any of those shows, but did you watch any of those ones?
No, I mean, I've heard about a lot of these. I'm not surprised that this was going to happen. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland is just a spin-off of Once Upon a Time. All they really needed was Once Upon a Time. I'm a huge oncer, and when I saw this one come out, I'm thinking, I'm not even bother watching it. And I didn't watch it. A lot of these had good ideas, but they were not satisfying, unfortunately. Like Super Fun Night. Obviously, you have Rebel Wilson, and the idea of her being just her in a crazy sitcom sounds great, but they just didn't illustrate it correctly.
Right.
So I think this whole list makes a lot of sense. Only one I'm kind of sad about is The Crazy Ones on CBS, because Robin Williams is the shit.
A show on CBS. It's funny because I don't watch any shows on CBS.
You know, NCIS, which is on CBS, is the highest rated
yes.
TV show ever, which is so weird.
And they have all the highest rated shows. Yeah. I don't watch any of them. It's amazing. I think it blows my mind. Like they also have Big Bang Theory, right? That's on CBS.
They have Big Bang. They also have what's it called? Don't they?
Or is
Two and a Half Men?
Yeah, is Big Bang Theory on CBS? Or is it on?
I think I'm thinking TBS because of the reruns.
It has to be. So from NBC, we have Believe. Unfortunately, I watched like 2 episodes of that and I fell out of it. Mm-hmm. But so sorry for my friend Jamie Chung because she was on that show. Community, that was a surprise to some people. But you know what? Community's been on the chopping block like every season.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. Dracula with Reese Myers, that's gone.
That's kind of sad because I really like vampires and stuff. But they just didn't develop it the way viewers would get enticed by it, unfortunately.
Maybe it would have done better on Showtime or something.
Yeah.
You know,
most shows would.
Yeah. Bring them back to Showtime. CW, there was the Carrie Diaries. That was the Carrie Bradshaw, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nikita, Tomorrow People, which had Robbie Amell in it.
Well, Nikita was struggling for a while. They're in the Fox, the X Factor. No surprise there. Yeah. Simon Cowell must have been really pissed.
Dads, that didn't last very long. That was like that Seth Green one, right?
Yeah. And it was created by Seth MacFarlane.
So that didn't last long. ABC, there's a few. These are all the renewed ones. So if you go to the renewed ones, most of the shows we're watching are there. One of the ones that I was surprised with that it took so long, and I'm surprised it got renewed, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Really?
I knew they would renew it because it has that market, but just the quality of the show, if they base it on that, I'm like, why?
Well, I think a lot of times it's not the quality, but so much as the following of it.
Yes, exactly.
So there's a lot of people that actually really like that show. Mm-hmm. Campea is not included, but I've only seen the first episode, and I thought it was, I'm like, all right, this is not a show that I'm gonna start following because there's so many shows out there that you watch a pilot and that's going to be your deciding factor whether you want to continue or not. Mm-hmm. And it just didn't do it for me.
I agree. So let's go on to some new shows. There is a trailer that has been released for ABC's Fresh Off the Boat. And Kaori actually sent this to me. I had never heard of it. I'd never heard of the book, whatever.
You thought that the trailer was fake. You're like, no, this can't be a real trailer.
I did. I thought it was a joke. I'm like, and then the ABC logo pops up at the end, and I'm like, okay, somebody did a really good job editing to make it look like this is a real show. But let's talk about it real quick. What do you think about the trailer?
I thought it was really funny. Obviously, they have exaggerated, characters of an Asian family, but it's. One thing is it's the first time in about 20 years where an Asian American family is represented, and I really like that. It's about time because we are really out there right now, and I'm definitely gonna watch this show because it a lot of the things hit close to home. Bringing food that was just completely different from your white friend's food at the lunch table. And
that was funny.
They're like, oh, you're eating worms, and he's eating like chow mein or something. And that's happened to me, like
that's
obviously.
happened to me too.
See?
I know. Like, what are you eating?
And or like your mom saying, why are you wearing a black person on your shirt? Mm-hmm. Like that's what she says to him when he's like, it's the Corys B.I.G. It's really cute, like those kind of things, those kind of shticks that I'm like, oh my gosh, that kind of hits close to home. The one thing I have a problem with, and I know it's the title of the book, is called Fresh Off the Boat. I mean, Eddie, really, why'd you have to name your book Fresh Off the Boat? It just adds to that whole stereotype that, if you're Asian and you have parents that come out and are immigrants, they're like, fubby off the boat. I just didn't like it. And now it's the title of the freaking show. Nah, I don't like the title. That's the one thing that bothers me.
Yeah, I wonder if any of the ABC execs were like, maybe we should retitle that. Maybe it's offensive. But then it's like, where do you cross the line? Because there will probably be some Asian people and maybe some non-Asian people that watch the show and are offended by some of the stuff too. Mm-hmm. So it's like, where do you draw that line? But yeah, I would agree about the title. Maybe they could have changed it. But it's definitely a draw because if I didn't see the title, then I probably wouldn't have watched it.
Very true. I agree.
And wanted to know more about it. And she watched me watching the trailer, and I was dying. Like, I was cracking up. I actually called John. He was in the office and said, John, you have to come see this, because I thought it was hilarious. I mean, the interaction being in the supermarket with the mother and the child, and they're looking up at the bright lights of the supermarket, you know, and kind of flashing back to her time when she was in Asia and going to the outdoor markets, and everybody's kind of like bumping into each other and grabbing food. And fighting each other, and then you go into something like a Ralph's, and it's like everyone's really polite with their cards. You know, there's free samples, and there's a really good joke in there about free samples. So I think it's gonna be good.
Go watch the trailer.
Yeah, you guys have to see it. And I'm looking forward to it. Actually,
I am too. I
hope that. Well, I was going to say, like in movies, you get all the funny stuff in the trailer, but this is a TV show, so I think it'll be for the duration of the show that. It'll be that funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's nice seeing an Asian family on TV.
Very nice.
So let's move on then to our tech news, because there is a new feature that Twitter has introduced where you can actually mute somebody. And what does mute mean? Well, it means you could actually continue to follow somebody, but you could turn off their tweets so you wouldn't see them, but they would still see yours. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you could actually
just
tell somebody, stop talking.
What is that? What's the difference of just unfollowing them? I guess it's because you don't want them to unfollow you.
Right. You still want them to see your tweets. You still want them. And perhaps maybe if it's like a weird, some rift in your relationship with this person, for example, like maybe business-wise you had a falling out.
Or an ex.
Or an ex or whoever, right? So there was something happened in the relationship, but you don't want them to see that you've unfollowed them, maybe. Yeah. So you can continue to follow each other. It's just you don't need to see the crap that this person's doing anymore. I mean, honestly,
I saw this. Actually, right before I saw this article, I was on Twitter, and I accidentally pressed something and said, would you like to mute this person? I don't remember who it was some random person. And I'm like, no, but what the heck is this option? And then you sent me this, and I started reading it. I'm like, this is actually kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I think, and it's similar to the following button on Facebook. So let's say you add a friend, and there's those 3 buttons. Well, I'm talking about the mobile version, but there's a button there that says following, and if it's checked, you'll see that person's updates on your timeline. If you uncheck it, then you won't see them on your timeline. However, you're still friends. So, and if they have you checked, then they can still follow what you're posting on Facebook. So it's a similar feature. I think it's been a long time coming. I think they needed this for quite some time. And you get to keep the followers.
Yeah, I like it. I like the idea.
Turn it on. Mute those people. Don't mute us. Don't mute us. Don't mute Team Amation either. Don't.
Hello.
We promise we'll be good. All right, so let's move on to our dating question of the week, because we wanted to talk about...
Ooh, that's a gnarly picture.
Right? Isn't that sad? Doesn't it make you sad?
So sad.
I know. Would you date your ex's friend?
I would not. That was like my answer.
Yeah.
I just, for me, it just, my off switch turns on when, my off switch turns off. Oh, whatever, however you want to say that.
Yeah.
When I meet a guy and he has a girlfriend, I suddenly automatically no interest in him whatsoever. Just not my thing. I know some girls don't care. That's just not me. That being said, when I meet my friend's man, he's already off limits, and so I never look at him that way. That being said, if they ever break up, that doesn't change.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So
I completely agree. I was trying to think like through this different scenarios, and the only thing I could think of is if it's a very far removed friend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if it's not the best friend, or somebody that your ex hangs out with frequently, let's say maybe you guys went to a social gathering and this guy has been to 1 out of 10 of them. So he's an acquaintance, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like a friend of a friend of a friend, boyfriend or whatever.
There's like a degree to where in my mind I thought, okay, well, it's okay at that point.
Yeah.
Because they were never close to begin with. But to Kaori's point, like being that tight with somebody.
Yeah.
It's a roommate or whoever it is, and they're friends, buddy. No, I would never.
It just feels weird. The idea is like, whoa, this is awkward.
It's like the bro code. It's the same for females.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got that too.
Yeah. What do we call that? The badge code?
The female undertaking. I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, it exists with us as well. Yeah. So we wouldn't do that. And let us know what you guys think. Would you do it? Would you date your ex's friend? I mean, to what degree would you?
Yeah.
I guess. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's move on to video game news. Before we talk about this week's topic, check out our I can't talk.
Check out our South Park Stick of Truth review. We have it up and running. So if you played South Park, tons of spoilers and tons of fun. Join the conversation. Check out our review and leave some comments.
Yeah, let us know what you thought of the game. Mm-hmm. We're still hearing all these comments about people's experience with the game.
Yeah.
And so far, really positive and funny.
Yeah. Now I want to go back and get plastic surgery so I can become David Hasselhoff.
And I still need to go back and beat Al Gore. So there are a few things that we need to do. I know that sounds ridiculous, but you got to get the game so you'll understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So check out our review. And moving on to this week's topic for video game news, we have from Miss Kaori.
Yes, The Walking Dead Season 2. Episode 3, In Harm's Way, came out. And I thought it was pretty good. Without giving you any spoilers, the beginning starts off slow, but at the very end, you're going to have to kind of make a big decision. It was probably one of the better episodes of this whole season. Granted, there's only 3 episodes right now, but I liked it. It was too short. Again, that's the one problem I have about Telltale Games is that they give their games out in increments of episodes, and they give it out every 6 weeks to 8 weeks, and it's just too short of a game to have only an hour and a half or 2 hours to play, and you got to wait for the next one. So a lot of people like to buy the bundle and just wait for the whole thing. But yeah, I just don't want to give it away, but Clem is going to have to, she's basically your savior. You're in deep shit. Like, honestly, this whole time I was playing this game, I'm thinking, how am I going to get out of this? This is probably, for me, the worst situation that I've been in Season 1 and Season 2. This place is the worst place to be in ever. And I was very scared, and it was daunting to be in this area by such an evil guy. And there's some shockers that really show how evil this guy is. Like, he's terrible. Like, it's like the governor almost. But, yeah, go play it. And let us know what you think.
Tell me something before we move on to the next topic. In these Telltale games, is there ever a decision that you make that would where your character would die?
There's a decisions that you make where characters will die as a result. So, like, let's say you chose one thing and I chose another. Perhaps I chose to save this person. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I'll spoil something from Season 1 because you guys should have played by now. Like at the end, like the last end of episode 4, Season 1, you have a choice between, because you get bitten, between cutting your arm or keeping it. Oh. And I cut my arm because I thought, I don't want to become a zombie because I'm scared I'm going to be dead in Season 5, episode 5. But I ended up walking around with like no arm. Right. But then I talked to my other friends and they said that they kept the arm. So basically you can keep the arm. So
and basically they're still alive.
They're still alive.
And not a zombie.
So like there's things like that. Or
yeah, I just wonder if the game could end early for me because I made a decision that you didn't make.
The game can end early for other characters.
Okay, but never for the main.
No, not for the main.
You'll just... Mine may look different at the end.
Very
than yours
different.
Does. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Because sometimes the decisions that come out of my head, I'm like, this character's going to die like in the 2 seconds into the game. So good to know. And I am one of those people that's waiting for the game in its entirety to come out. So
yeah.
Then we can do a review of that.
Okay. Well, my spoiler was small, so.
It's fine. Yeah. I'm sure my character is going to wind up all mangled and whatever, like... Weird.
It's gonna be just a head.
I know.
Talking head.
Cut it all off. Cut the arms and the legs off, please, right now. Okay, so let's move on. This is such an odd transition, but we're gonna talk about our man and woman crush of the week. a new segment that we started last week. So we each pick out who we would like to highlight this week. And Corey, we'll start with you.
All right. Well, I was going to say Aaron Taylor Johnson, but this thing overrode very quickly.
He's hot.
Why is he wearing a fanny pack?
It's so cute. I thought those were briefs.
Well, this dog apparently is a Pomeranian that got a haircut, and he was so pissed about his haircut, he revolted, and the whole entire time at his house, he was on his 2 feet, his 2 hind legs as a revolt. In other pictures, you can see his pecker. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
He's so cute.
He is so cute. Let's bring it up one more time.
Look how cute he
I
is.
know. I'm pretty sure Kaori has got me on her man crush of this week. What is the name of that dog, by the way? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Just cute.
Just a little hottie. Okay, so my man crush is not as furry as Kaori's is. It's Stephen Amell. Of course.
Cheater.
The Arrow. I thought how appropriate because he just finished the season finale for season 2. We just wrapped up our after show. Check those out if you haven't. But the cool thing about him is, and I wanted to highlight, during the break, he's focusing a lot of his attention on doing good for others. And there's a charity out there called Prayers for Sophie. They're basically this child that has some ridiculous, like, 1.1% chance of having this disease, right? It's like this really rare disease that this child has. And so he's taken up the cause. He's put a Arrow statue on eBay, autographed. And basically at this point, I don't know if it's actually sold yet, but the last time I looked, it was at 25,000 plus.
Wow.
For donations. Amel said he would match that donation and all of that would go to Sophie. So check out that charity. He's doing a lot of great work, not only on screen, but off screen.
He's a real hero.
Yeah, he really is. He's our true hero. And I love when celebrities take the time to do these kinds of things.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because they understand that they're fortunate to be where they're at and they want to give to others. And he continues to support that Fuck Cancer charity as well, which he didn't start, but he started being involved with that because of his mother having cancer.
Yeah. So
a lot of good things happening for Mr. Arrow.
Good choice.
Mr. Stephen Amell. He is my man crush for the week.
Good choice.
Kaori, who is your woman?
Well, because the other Pom was my man crush, I have to, so the other one won't feel neglected or jealous. My female crush is Wakame.
Oh, I love that picture so much.
It's a funny picture. This is before she grew her mane, but I love this picture because she looks like a cow. She has like nothing in deep into her eyes. There's like no thought. She's just like, what up, guys?
So happy.
So happy. We should be cows.
You guys need to, if you haven't checked out her, I think you probably have it on Instagram or Twitter or something, but look at Wakame when she has the lion cut.
Yeah.
It's the cutest thing you'll ever see. You'll probably shed a tear. She's so freaking cute. She also guest stars on the show once in a while, so check out some of her shows as well.
Yes, and she has farted on the show.
She has definitely farted on the show. That's an awesome one. I don't think I can beat that one either.
You can try.
Well, I, for mine, have picked Miss Amy Poehler. She's one of my kind of like, if I was on TV and was going to be really funny, I would want to be her. She's cool. I love her. And she just seems like a really good person. She's on Parks and Recreation if you haven't seen her. She cracks me up every week. I'm sad to hear that this season is probably going to be their last season. So I don't know where I'm going to see Miss Poehler after this. I remember her when she played the cool mom on Mean Girls. That was funny. And just all around good person. I read the story this week that she was sitting in first class and she saw that a woman was struggling with her child to keep the child entertained or whatever on the same flight. So Amy, after a lot of resistance from the mom, got the mom to actually get up, switch seats with her, brought her to first class. So the mom was taken care of and Amy took the seat in economy.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, because she wanted to, one, like, help the mom out, but also help the people that were in economy that were probably dealing with, I mean, the people in first class had to deal with it, but I think they just felt a little more comfortable. And from what I hear, the mom was really happy about that. So
that's great. Now I know. Next time you can be the baby.
Yes.
And just cry.
Give us our first class seat, please. Let's do it.
Bitches.
I know. So that will do it for us. You guys, let us know if you have any man or woman crushes for this week that you'd like to highlight. And until next week, Kaori, where can people find you?
You can find me and Walkmay at KAORIOUS on Twitter as well as Instagram. And don't mute me, and I won't mute you.
And please check out Walkamay's line cut. I swear, it's worth your time. You can follow me at Campea on all of the various social media. So I can't talk today. It's too early it's too early in the morning. And check out any of our after shows too. We've got a few. We're gonna start off the Firefly one.
Yeah, I need to finish that.
We need to finish that with Kaori. We finished the Arrow one, so go back and watch the season and then watch our after shows. Check out Team Amazian's review of South Park, any of our Speak Nerdy to Me videos, and subscribe to the channel. So you could find both of us at Team Amazian on Twitter. And we will see you next week.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
See ya.